Well, good morning everybody. I'm not starting from home today. As you can see, my little palace is at Barcaldine, just north of Oban. I came up yesterday. I didn't bother filming yesterday because it was a lot of motorway work, which is very boring. So we'll get down to the nitty gritty this morning. Take a little rundown to begin with, I think, to the Isle of Seil. It's a lovely morning. The only thing is, the midges are biting, so see what today brings. Well, you can't see it at the minute, but we're on the shores of the Firth of Lorne. Oh dear. Ha, sorry. Dead deer. Only a youngster by the look of it. This is the village of Benderloch, which has the nearest shop to the campsite. Quite a way away, but it's a nice little shop. That's where I get everything I need for me. Gourmet evening meal tonight. I haven't decided what to have yet. This is effectively the mouth of the Firth of Lorne over to the right of us. Coming down to Connell Bridge, C-O-N-N-E-L. Quite an interesting bridge because you'll notice as we go across it, it's narrow, single file traffic. The reason for that is that it was originally built as a railway bridge. There was a railway line that connected Oban with Ballachulish, just short of Fort William behind us, and the main purpose of the line was to transport roofing slates. There was quite a lot of slate quarries, or slate quarry activity I should say, at Ballachulish, and the slate were brought away from the quarries by trade. And traffic couldn't get across as such across the it's the mouth of Loch Etive, Sea Loch in front of us that the bridge actually crosses, and traffic couldn't get across. But back in the early 20th century there was a very enterprising bus operator, and they had a little double-decker bus that was equipped with railway wheels, flanged railway wheels, and they had a little siding built either side of the bridge. They ran a bus service on the rails from one side to the other just to get people across. Otherwise it was a matter of catching the ferry, a little ferry down below us on the left that doesn't operate anymore. So yes, this is Connell Bridge. You might see some turbulence down below us on both sides in actual fact. This is the Falls of Laura. Tide's on its way out at the minute, so the rapids are flowing out towards the sea to the right. But when the tide comes in, they reverse, they flow the other way. The rapids run into the sea loch, into Loch Etive. So that was Connell Bridge anyway. This is all the Firth of Lorne out to the right of us. A good few miles behind us is Loch Linney and Fort William at the start of the Great Glen, which we'll have a look at tomorrow. here we are in Oban. This I might have mentioned already. I'm not sure. This was one of my stamping grounds during my days as a coach tour driver. I've relished every opportunity to work out here on the west coast. Getting out over the town of Oban itself now. An important fishing town at one time. Still some fishing. Some fish, not exactly fish, more shellfish, prawns, that sort of thing landed here at Oban. But it's more important now as a ferry terminal. Ferries to the Isle of Mull, out to Colonsay, Carl and Tyree. Quite a few of the Inner Hebrides. Nice little town is Oban. This is effectively the start of the main street. First time I've been here since the start of COVID last March. On the way up yesterday, on the way through the borders, I saw quite a few businesses that just haven't survived. It's sad to see, to be honest, but it's a worldwide problem, of course. Over to the right is, well, it was the Fish Quays, very busy, but the ferry terminal's across there now, of course, which is the main business on the harbour these days. just had to stop to change the memory card. Memory card was full. It's hardly surprising. I think the content of every video I've made for YouTube has been on it and never been deleted, so I must get round to doing that sometime. So we're coming down towards, not far now, towards the turning for the Isle of Seil. The Isle of Seil is another place that was very, very busy at one time, with the industry of slate quarrying. A heck of a lot of slate was quarried in the Isle of Seil. It all came to a stop after a massive storm many years ago, which flooded the quarries, and they just never got pumped out. This is a small sea lock on the right. This flows out into the further wall. To get to the Isle of Seil itself, we have to cross a bridge, and it's called the Bridge over the Atlantic. Very grand sounding name. We'll have a closer look at it when we get there. There's actually two islands out there, the Isle of Seil and its smaller neighbour, Easdale. Island of Easdale, both of which were involved in the slate quarrying industry. Now, the company I used to work for, Shearings, there were one or two, shall we say, rites of passage that tour drivers were expected to participate in if they wanted to work in Scotland, and one of them was this stretch of road across the Isle of Seil. Regular excursion from the company's hotel in Oban down to the Isle of Seil. You can see where the seal flows out into the further floor over on the right there. Now, when I was told about this Before I came across here the first time, that is, when I was told about this at the trip. I honestly thought that the tricky bit would be crossing the bridge, because I knew what the bridge is like, and you'll see in just a few minutes. Oh no, bear in mind what we had was massive six-wheeler coaches. This was the first. You've got to get this bridge dead right. Much easier on a motorbike. Now then, we're coming down to the bridge over the Atlantic. It's a beautiful bridge, it really is. If memory serves, it was the work of one Thomas Telford. We'll stop here and have a closer look at it. And there's the bridge in front of us. There's a trickle of water that flows under it, and it's part of the Atlantic Ocean, technically speaking. So yes, it's a bridge over the Atlantic. And on the far side is the Isle of Seil. And our destination this morning is not far beyond. But like I say, we'll have a closer look at it. Right, we'll go a bit further. Hopefully the drone footage has worked. So we'll take a run over the bridge ourselves. So yes, that's a wee branch of the Atlantic we're crossing. The bridge over the Atlantic. Now then, here's a story for you. The pub over the road is the Tyna Trush, as you can see the name over the front. Tyna Trush, the Tyna Trush. I'm running these teeth in for somebody else, by the way. This harks back to the end of the Jacobites, really, the end of the Highland Way. After the Barcaldine, the wearing of kilts was banned. It was illegal to wear a kilt. Play bagpipes, carry arms, all sorts of things. So what happened here was that the locals on the Isle of Seil weren't prepared to give up that easily. So, and whilst they're on the island, they wore the kilts traditionally. But when they had to come off the island over to the mainland, cross the bridge in other words, they kept the trousers, the trews if you like, in this house. It wasn't a pub then. And they call in here, divest themselves of the kilt and change into the trousers or the trews. So the Tyna Trush means the house of the trousers. This is where they got changed. Completely and utterly useless information. I just hope you find it interesting. The passengers always did, or at least they said they did. Just a bit further in front of us is a B&B with a difference. It was originally a church, but that's not what's so different about it. I'm fairly sure it's actually featured on one of those reality TV shows. Is it 4 in a bed or 3 in a bed? I don't know. It was a church, well a chapel, a kirk, as they call them across here, up here. And this is it in front of us, built entirely of corrugated iron. Known as a tin kirk. And it's a B&B, the tin church. Beautiful viewpoint just here. Over to the right, just sticking out in the trees, that's Easdale, the island of Easdale. The rocks beyond. And those are the small isles in front of us in the distance. Or sorry, no, they're the Treshnish Islands. The Treshnish Islands. And then just coming into view is the island of Ling, L-U-I-N-G. There's a wee ferry that crosses to Ling. What a fantastic view. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Ring of Bright Water, Bill Travers, Virginia McKenna. It was the story of Gavin Maxwell's involvement and study of otters, supposedly set on the Isle of Skye. Well, that's the story, is on the Isle of Skye. That's where he lived, just opposite the Isle of Skye. But the film, a lot of it was filmed across here. And the village scenes where Bill Travers came over, brought the otter over the hill to see the vet, and subsequently fell in love with the vet, who was Virginia McKenna, was on the main street here at Elinabach. This is a quarryman's village. Single-storey cottages built purely for the quarrymen. A lot of them now are holiday cottages, sadly. Not so many people actually live here, but it's a lovely little setup, it really is, as you can see. The cottages on the left are the privy, used to be out in the garden on the right. Thank you. This is the end of the road for the moment. Try not to knock any coach passengers over, they might have been mine at one time. And that in front of us, unless I'm mistaken, is the wee passenger ferry that takes foot passengers across to Easdale over the way, over to our left. So we'll take a little break here in Elinabach and see if I can get a cup of coffee. Be back soon.
Places to sit around for half an hour, to be honest. And the view around us completely is absolutely stunning today. As I said on the video, this is Elinabach, where we are at the minute, the main village on the Isle of Seil, and then over the way behind me is the Isle of Easdale. These were very, very rich in slate, and still are really, but it's all flooded these days after the massive storm that flooded them many, many years ago. Up there, behind me again, is the further lawn, running up to Loch Linney and Fort William eventually. But out to the Atlantic. Out to the Atlantic, sort of behind me. It's really nice things. So excuse the helmet there, it's out of control. Anyway, I'm going to sit and wait at the table, and I'll see you in the shop.
Well, suitably refreshed. We'll take a run back onto the mainland. 1881, the storm actually struck the Slate Islands, as they're known. And certainly flooded the quarries on Seil. On the right here, this is one of the flooded quarries, just on the right. And not a lot of people know this, but this is where the World Skimming Championships are held. Fabulous views today. One last view before we head back towards the bridge. So here we are back at the Atlantic Bridge, or the bridge over the Atlantic. I misled you when I said earlier that it was Thomas Telford. It wasn't Thomas Telford at all. It's a fellow called Robert Miles who designed it, and John Stevenson of Oban built it, the bridge. This was 1792. Right, we're just retracing our steps now. Now we're back on the mainland, back to the main road, and see where it takes us.
Well, I took the long way back from the islands. I came across these that I've never seen before, or even heard of them. Nether Largie standing stones. Standing stones fascinate me. They're lined up with the movements of the moon and the rising of the sun, but still nobody knows what they're all about. Sun worshippers or plotting the moon to the heavens. Who knows? 3,500 years old these things are. So two at this end, the group in the middle, the particularly large one, two at the far end, set out in a definite pattern. Who knows? Now if there's any fans us out of Outlander out there, it's going to have a go. No. far as I can see, we're still in 2021. So it's not work for me. Looking for the cup and ring markings that there are on some of the stones. Can't see any yet. Or just haven't looked hard enough. Oh, Nether Largie. There's no cup and ring as I can see. Like I say, I'm probably just not looking hard enough. Fascinating, these things, absolutely fascinating. So old, yet so little known about. Anyway, that's Nether Largie. Time to go. Time to go back to the tent, I think.